Guys, welcome to another episode of Tuck Talks, where I tuck talk. And today we're talking about episode 7 of Next Level Chef season 2. So on Gordon Ramsay's show, Next Level Chef, I'm on Team Ramsay representing yet again. I can't believe I was hand chosen. Still one of the highlights of this entire experience, right? Hand selected by one of my idols since I was a teenager. And so we begin episode 7. It's called Here Fishy Fishy. So clearly we got some fish at hand over here. So we start the episode off by learning that the platform will not be stopping on our drop. What? So that's a little bit of a twist. And we also find out as we are holding onto or touching the wall, ready to run to the platform, it's at that moment where Chef Ramsay goes, "Oh yeah, and by the way, there's only 3 fish on the platform." What? Turns out you get one enormous fish per team that you have to break down and distribute for everyone. So we run over to the platform and there's salmon, cod, and halibut. I kind of take the team lead role at this point. I'm like, all right, seeing as how I have professional butchery experience, the only one at this point, I'm gonna take over. This fish is mine. Grab the salmon. And so a couple of us had, talked about wanting salmon, before the episode. As we were waiting for the platform to turn green, Chef Ramsay, kind of went around and asked us what we hoped to be on the platform before he said there was only one fish per team. And a lot of us said salmon. Salmon is one of the more common fish to work with. It's pretty standard in how you prep it, right? So you want that crispy skin, you want it nice and cooked, you don't want it too overdone, then it's gonna get really dry in there. So we know we can execute salmon well, and so a lot of us wanted that. So just so happens there was a beautiful salmon up there. It probably ended up being like 45 pounds if I had to guess. And we take it off the platform. Well, by we, I mean Vinny. And so Michelle even points out on the episode, and she's like, you know what? I don't know why I thought I needed to get in there and help. Vinny's a firefighter. He could probably pick up this one fish by himself. And he did. So I was like, sit it here, let me do this. And I took one side down, and there we go. So we put it down on the cutting board, and I was like, all right, let's do this. So I take one side right off the salmon, flip it over, take the belly off, start cutting into nice 6-ounce-ish portions for us. And I'm like, just so you know, there's pin bones in here. Someone's got to take those out, or take your own out of each fillet once you get back to your station. I don't know, but I'm just saying there's bones in here. All right. So, I give everybody the heads up. And then as soon as we're done filleting the fish, as soon as I'm done filleting the fish, it's pretty much immediately mid-round mayhem. So at this point, it's not really the middle, but at this point, all we have is salmon. So the platform comes down again, and that's where everything else is, right? All the veg, the starches, the accoutrement, right? And so that's when I start picking things off the platform. I get some potatoes, I get some herbs, I get some lemon. Obviously, we're making fish, you need some citrus involved. And I get some cherry tomatoes, do some Kofi cherry tomatoes. End up doing a rosemary, potato cubes, and get that nice crispy salmon skin. I also had a few celery curls, which if you veg peel your celery stalk and stick those strips into some ice water, they end up getting curly, cute, spirally. So, cute little celery cube garnish. Got some grilled endive on the plate, Kofi cherry tomatoes, rosemary potatoes, crispy skin salmon, and my smoked buttery sauce. I was pretty stoked about this dish. It was pretty fire. That salmon I know was cooked, and I know that being on this top floor right now, everybody wants to come for us, right? I know that they do. They're gunning for us. So I'm just kind of reminding the team, best dish is going to come off our floor. Keep your head in the game. How we doing out here? Just try to check in, make sure we're all ready to crush this challenge, because they want to take us down, right? Team Ramsay's at the top right now. Everybody's coming for us. We got to take them down. So I'm stoked. Chef Ramsay comes over and he's like, Tucker, beautiful job on filleting the fish. That's awesome. Just to be acknowledged and recognized for a skill that a lot of chefs don't have. A lot of chefs don't have butchery skills. It's not really that common of a skill. And I was just really stoked that Chef Ramsay recognized that this was something I can do and I can do well. And I got my butchery experience from working at Accarello. It's a 2 Michelin star restaurant here in San Francisco. And so I saw the open butchery position there, and I showed up with 0 butchery experience. And I was like, I'm here for the job. And Suzette, the chef owner of the restaurant, was like, what butchery experience do you have? And I was like, not a lot. And she was like, okay, you're hired. And I was like, you're kidding. So she really mentored me as a very young green cook and showed me the ropes and really taught me so much about the industry. And I'm forever thankful and grateful to her. And, you know, eventually worked my way up at that restaurant to a more managerial type position as her sous. And so it was just really great to be recognized for something that I really enjoyed doing, honestly. Being that position was one of my most favorite positions. I even took some time and worked in a butcher shop on the side. So after I would finish up at Accarello, I would go over to the neighborhood butcher store in the Marina District, and I would be a meat cutter there as well. And so just a lot of butchery experience. It's kind of fun, and I was really glad that I could just set my team up for success with some beautifully filleted salmon. So the rest is up to them though, right? You gotta cook it, you gotta make it happen, but I set you up for success here. So as per usual, right, I don't know what's happening on any of the other floors. So I don't know what the middle level's doing. I don't know what the basement level's doing. I do know that at one point, Ramsay yells down to Blaze and is like, what fish do you have? And Blaze yells back, we have cod. And Ramsay's like, you're screwed. He used a different terminology there, but I think we know what I mean. And then Blaze is all, oh, you know, I haven't seen one this big in years. And, you know, I teach virtual classes for a living, so I'm constantly mic'd and cameraed a lot, right? So you would think that I would be used to it. Problem is, I think I've become too used to it. I kind of forget that there's cameras and mics on, watching, listening all the time. And so I let out a, that's what she said. Shout out to Steve Carell for a that's what she said moment.
The cod is fantastic. I haven't seen one this big in years.
I'm a big Office fan, just so that we clear that up. But yeah, didn't know they caught that. Really glad they featured that though. One of my finer moments here. Just kidding. But that was pretty great. But anyway, yeah, I don't know what's going on any of the other levels. I don't know how their fish butchery is going. I do know, right, Pilar is a sushi chef. So I know that Team Arrington is gonna have some beautiful fillets. I don't know who's got the butchery on Blaze's team though. So I'm just on the inside wondering who's taking down that fish down there. I assume it's Matt just because he does a lot of work with meat. And now, when we're talking butchery, fish and meat, very different techniques, right? Very different techniques. There's even just so many different techniques. I mean, fish and meat, just the texture is so different. So at one point I actually yelled down. They didn't catch this on camera, I guess, or didn't want to feature it, but I yelled down. I was like, it's not meat, daddy. So I call him the barbecue daddy because he has 2 adorable little kids. So he's the barbecue daddy. And so I just remind him, you know, that it's not meat, it's fish. But he got it out, right? He got some portions out for his team, and some of them did rather well, right? So we finish up the cook, we get our plates on the platform. Mind you, each cook challenge is 40 minutes. Each plating time is 90 seconds. You have 90 seconds to plate your dish. You can't start plating ahead of that. So you only have 90 seconds to plate. That 90 seconds also includes you picking your plate up and walking it to the platform, which I don't know if you've ever been a server before at a restaurant, but things move on the plate, especially when you're in a hurry running to a platform that's about to move. So it is difficult. You got a lot to do in that 90 seconds. So everybody today made it on the platform. So I think we should all just give ourselves a round of applause for that, right? Yeah, everybody made it on the platform. And now it's off to judging. Here we go. All right, time for some judgment. Literally how it feels every single time. You're just like, you know, butterflies, knots, stomach pit, you know, the whole thing is happening, right? And you're just like, ugh. or at least me, I was always panicked, right? I'm always panicked walking into judging. I don't know how everybody else felt. Some of them it seemed like they felt very confident. Maybe it was just on the outside. Maybe they were tripping on the inside. I was definitely tripping on the inside and the outside when I went into judging, because, you know, you can think that you made a great dish. That doesn't mean that these 3 culinary badasses are gonna agree with that, right? Just because you think it's bomb does not mean Gordon Ramsay's gonna think it's bomb. So, I'm nervous, right? I'm concerned. Always, even if I'm confident in my dish, I'm still like, uh-oh, but are they gonna like it? So, we head into judging. They start talking about my dish. You know, Ramsay lets them know that the person who made this dish also filleted the fish. They said that the crispy skin was super nice. You can even hear it. They did the little scrapey scrape thing on it, the ASMR that we all know and love, right? I had those rosemary potatoes in there. I had confit cherry tomatoes. And I had a smoked butter sauce as well. You know, hit with a little lemon. Beurre Blanc, kind of play on a Beurre Blanc almost. So, I was pretty stoked about that. I used the smoking gun to smoke the butter that I then emulsified into the sauce. So, super delicious. I was super stoked on this dish. And we go over to Michelle. She makes a beautiful salmon. Naisha even says it's one of the most beautiful salmons she's ever had. Kudos, Michelle. Knocked it out of the park. Definitely took the win on our team. Definitely got best dish. Good job, Mish. Vinny, unfortunately, puts 2 purees on a plate. In typical in restaurant style, you don't really do 2 purees on a plate. Like, if you're gonna go a potato puree with your salmon, the other item on your dish needs to be ideally not another potato, but also not another puree. So if at that point he only had potatoes, should have done a puree with like a fried potato, a chip, some sort of, I don't know, some sort of crunchy, right? You want textural differences, colors, textures, flavors, all the things, right? Colors. You want variety in your dishes. So, unfortunately, Vinny didn't quite crush this one, but his salmon was well cooked. Then we go over to poor Preston, who unfortunately serves up a very raw salmon. And so that's not great. We are concerned for Chef P. And then we take a look at the middle floor. Chris did cod collar. Now, I don't know if you've ever had a cod collar, but cod collar is delightful. Collar is delightful. Hamachi collar is great. The collar is just kind of like more tender because there's not a lot of movement going on. And just really nice. When he chose to grill it and then do a little curry spice on it, I can't believe how like that would have tasted. I'm sure it was incredible. But turns out the one who actually won best dish of the day was Chef Omi. She did halibut 3 ways. It was a traditional dish that her grandmother had taught her. It's called Raising the Dead. So basically, anytime anyone was sick, her grandmother would make this dish for them and everybody would feel better. It was a beautiful cod broth. There was a nice filet that was steamed or something like that with crispy skin and then a fritter on the top. It was beautiful. I'm sure it tasted amazing. I really wish I could have tasted that dish. And then, other dishes that went well. Pilar did a milk poached halibut. That's a really cool technique. And then Shay's presentation was not on point. We had Teeny pairing some avocado and red wine kind of sauce and puree together, and with cod, that's not it. And Matt really just kind of fumbled today. Unfortunately, dropped some pancetta. His elderflower is a tricky ingredient. If you've never worked with elderflower before or had it on a menu, it is very floral. It is very powerful flavor. So cod, being so delicate, it's a hard pairing. Blaze even says it during the cook challenge. Like, this is a difficult pairing to come together in a dish. And unfortunately, he didn't have the pancetta to balance out the sweetness that elderflower wine actually had in it. So unfortunately, Preston with that raw fish, Matt with that elderflower sauce, they're going into elimination here. So unfortunately, Team Ramsay is at elimination junction over here. So we are not stoked about this, but we believe in Preston. We know he can pull this one out. So the best part One of the best parts of winning the best dish of the day is that you get safety for your entire team. And then you get to go to the green room and sit down and watch the elimination. And let me tell you, it is amazing getting to sit down. Like, these are long days, right? We're doing 12-hour days. We're all exhausted. This is a high-stress situation. We're away from our homes and families and friends and dogs, right? I had to leave my dog here. So, you know, any chance you could sit down and just like have a break was an amazing welcome experience. So, unfortunately, it's not my team today, but Team Arrington gets to head up there, you know, on riding on Omi's coattails. She really crushed this one. Congratulations, chef. That was beautiful. So, Team Arrington safe out in the green room, and then we've got Team Ramsay, Team Blaze up for elimination. So it's Matt and Preston, and they find out that their elimination challenge is lobster, right? And I mean, we started with fish, we're moving into lobster. It checks out, right? Thematically, right? That made sense. So we actually have Preston, who finds pasta dough on the platform, and he starts making tortellini. Well, he starts making tortelloni. Tortellini are little, ini. Tortelloni are bigger, oni. So in Italian, right? Ini for little, oni for big. You got this. So he's making some tortelloni. He cooks his lobster. He makes a lobster sauce. He makes the pasta. He puts the cooked lobster in the pasta. He cooks the pasta. He serves it in this beautiful sauce. In 30 minutes, P was crushing it today. Like, Preston moved, right? Preston moved. So that was some serious gangster moves right there, Preston. Props. Remember, Preston is 19 years old. So yes, he's a professional chef, but he's 19 years old, all right? So he's still very new to this world. So the fact that he just pulled that out is dope, right? That is dope. We are so proud of our boy right now. And Matt makes this beautiful lobster linguine. It's got tomatoes and basil and lemon and capers and caviar. And so, you know, you don't really need caviar on hot pasta with lobster. I mean, I would definitely eat it, but that was the judges' feedback. They're like, I don't know about that. But, I mean, both dishes technically executed beautifully, but today's elimination had a twist. Blaze voted to eliminate the tortelloni. Ramsay voted to eliminate the linguine. Naisha had to be the tiebreaker. She looked very displeased at the fact that she had to be the tiebreaker for this. She did not look happy, poor thing. I would also not wanted to have been the tiebreaker for this. Both dishes looked great. They both, all three of them said that both of them tasted great, and that like there wasn't a bad dish there, but there was one that was more technical. Obviously, the tortelloni. So Preston ends up winning the elimination, executing tortelloni in 30 minutes, and I believe killing his first lobster. So that was his first lobster that he broke down. So kudos to him doing that on national television, right? That's pretty wild. But in any event, he really knocked it out of the park with that dish. We were really proud. And so unfortunately, that means Barbecue Daddy, Chef Matt, is going back to New Jersey. And he really went out on a high. I mean, he put his heart and soul into each plate that he put out the entire season long. And, you know, I wish him all the best. He's a great guy. Definitely keep an eye out for some Tuck Matt collabs in the future. If you don't follow him on Instagram or YouTube, you definitely should. He's got some great barbecue content. He has his own spice line, Grow Arc Boys Barbecue. And he's got some great flavors in those spices. So check that out. Show him some love, right? And definitely keep your eyes out for some Chef Tuck, Chef Matt collabs in the future, because you know we could whip up something tasty. After every episode, there's like a little 30-second like sneak preview, right, of the following episode. And so they actually dropped the hint that they're taking away the teams. We're going to individuals. We are finally going to individuals over here. So we've got 3 people on Team Blaze, 4 people on Team Ramsay, 4 people on Team Arrington. So 4, 4, and 3 is 11. Math is not my strong suit. But we've got 11 people left, right? So we started with 18. We are down to 11. We are down to singles. This competition's about to heat up. All right, it's all fun and games when you're on a team and you got that safety net, right? And you're helping each other out. It's about to be a whole new ball game. You are not gonna wanna miss these next episodes. So, I'm super stoked for this week's episode. Remember, new episodes drop Thursdays at 8 p.m. Follow my YouTube series, right? Tuck Talks, for all the inside scoop, the behind the scenes action, and a little more Tuck detail. But follow my Instagram for all my chefy content, Chef Tuckericchio. Follow me on TikTok, Chef Tuckericchio. Or if you want me to cook for your private event or your special day, date night, parties, whatever, I do private chefing. Email me at cheftuckericchio@gmail.com. I'm available for hire, knife for hire. So follow my socials, keep up with all of my adventures, and I will catch you around the internet. Take care, guys.